because this thing costs 7 times more, it doesn't mean it's better. If you actually go use case by use case on this thing, Quest 3 stacks up really well, and I'm just really proud of the work that we did. Well, I mean, I think competition does end up being good for people, right? I'm a very competitive person, so having a competitor who's doing a good job will also motivate us, and it's good for the teams. It creates more of a sense of urgency. So I do think that people really win when there's competition, and I definitely think that that's true. And yeah, I do think that because people sort of assume that if Apple comes into a space, they're going to do a good job, then it's like, hey, maybe I hadn't considered wearing one of these headsets, and now I will. Hey, the Quest 3 is actually better, and it's $500. So I'll go for that one. I do think a lot of people are going to buy Quest because of that. So that's going to be a pretty exciting thing. But I don't know. We're in this for the long term. I think it's going to be, there are going to be a lot of ups and downs. So I don't worry too much about any given year. I just try to do the best stuff that we can. I don't think so. Look, first of all, I'm not laughing at them. I take Apple seriously. I think it's like a good company. They do good work. I'm just laying out the facts as I see them today. I'm not saying that they're not going to improve, but hey, we're going to improve too. And we're a company that moves pretty quickly, so I actually think we'll probably improve faster. But I do think that there's this whole vibe with Apple fanboys, which I find kind of a little funny, and where it's like a lot of people just get upset if you dare to question if Apple is going to lead in a new space. And I don't know. I just think if you look at the history of computing, every major generation has sort of an open model where it's more partnership oriented, more favorable to developers. And then they have a closed model where it's just like, it's usually just Apple, basically just integrating all their stuff closely together. And yeah, in mobile, Apple won. There's technically more Android phones out there, but basically Apple, from a business perspective, won, and in all the developed countries where people can afford their products, people basically prefer the iPhone. But that's not the way it always works, right? In PCs before that, in the 90s, Microsoft and Windows were really the leader, and they had the open model. So I just don't think that the future is written on this yet. And I think that for this next generation, Apple's clearly going to be the closed model. Meta and our approach is going to be more open and partnership oriented, more developer focused. And I think we have a really good chance at winning. And I'm really committed to doing that. I'm like I'm a competitive person. I'm like passionate about what we're doing, and like we're playing to win. So no, I can't like sit here and guarantee that the future will go one way or another. But I think people who try to say that there's no chance that it goes the other way are just wrong. Like I think that this is an open game, and I feel pretty good about the team and the effort and the products that we're putting out. When I see these videos of people like wearing these devices walking down the street, that is not what we're designing this for. I do think that there's going to be a mobile version in this next generation of computing, and that's more going to be glasses. And we're getting started on that with the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses that we put out that are doing really well. It's in the second generation that we just put out. It's we have Meta AI in there. There's a lot of really exciting use cases. I'm really excited to roll out the multimodal part of that, which basically in AI speak is like you can ask it questions using both the camera, so it's like look at what's around, and you can speak to it. So we have people doing stuff like going for a walking tour around Stanford campus, and they just like look at a building and they just ask the glasses, it's like, hey, look and tell me what is the significance of this building and the history behind it. Okay, what about this sculpture that's here? Tell me about that. And that's like pretty wild and can be more social stuff, and I think is more the thing that you're going to see more out in the world. But look, people do spend many hours in front of their big screens today, either doing entertainment or productivity type things, and increasingly even fitness oriented devices with things like Peloton or big screen component of that. So will the future involve those activities, but in a more immersive version of that? Yeah, I think so. And I think part of what we need to do is make that social, right? So part of it is the mixed reality, so you can see the physical world around you and blend the digital objects into that. That's a big part of what we did. That was the big jump from Quest 2 to Quest 3, is now we have this high resolution color mixed reality pass through, so you can see the world around you and put digital objects there. But a big focus for us, when I talk about the metaverse, it is about that kind of social sense of presence and being there with other people, which is something that we kind of designed into our products to make them all sort of multiplayer and social. And I just think, I mean, that's like the DNA of our company. So like, we're going to really focus on that. And that's an area where I think we'll probably do the best work in the industry. I mean, I think that you can think of the glasses as the next computing generation's phone, right? It's the mobile, truly you're using it on the go computing platform. Whereas I think the headset is going to be more the next generation's computer or TV screen. So the bigger screens that you have. And yeah, I mean, I think for most people, the phone is probably the more important device in their life. And I think that that's probably going to be true in this next generation, that the glasses are probably going to be the more important and more ubiquitous thing. But I think that they're both meaningful. And I also think technologically, there's a path where you want to build kind of this immersive kind of 3D content. And you can build it first in mixed reality because the devices, by virtue of the fact that they're a bit bigger, have more compute. So it's easier to build stuff there. And then by the time we get to glasses that can put holograms in the world, we'll have built up the whole kind of developer ecosystem and platform to have a bunch of the content there. But the thing that I think has been really cool is, I kind of thought that smart glasses weren't going to be a like ubiquitous consumer product until we got to that kind of hologram and putting, digital objects, just overlaying them physically on the world. But then this kind of crazy thing happened in the last year, which is this emergence of these AI models, right? Where you can talk to them and ask questions, and they can do a lot of things for you. So now I actually think that something like the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses is going to have much broader appeal than I would have guessed even a few years ago. I mean, when we started that, we thought of it as like the kind of intro project, working our way up towards holograms. Whereas now, I actually think a lot of people are just going to want that, right? Because it's an affordable product, it's a stylish product. It's like you don't need to cram a ton of technology into it. You can just it's like it has cameras, it has speakers, it has a microphone. You can talk to AI. It's you can take phone calls on it. You can listen to audiobooks while you're out there. It's it's pretty capable already. What I think is going to happen is that glasses are going to become the primary mobile device. I'm not predicting that in 10 years, we're not also going to have phones. I just think that a lot of the time they're going to sit in our pocket when we're just doing stuff that we can do more naturally and in a more socially good way with glasses, without having to have something in your hand or take your kind of eyes away from the interaction that you're having and look down at a phone.
How fast do you see that happening? Share your thoughts in the comment section and subscribe to the channel for more engaging content like this.